The main objective of my visit to both the UK and Ireland is around internationally having farmers recognise the extra opportunity that exists and the difference between milking good and average cows. Now, it seems simple enough, cow's a cow, but in reality a cow's not a cow. The difference between a very capable, genetically capable cow and her more average contemporaries. I've got some great data from our own information from New Zealand. I've been working with data from Irish farmers and from UK farmers to show that farmers actually need to put a significant focus on the quality of the cows they're milking, because clearly there is a significant extra opportunity of prosperity and productivity on the table from milking better cows. Interesting being in the UK there in the last few days and recognising that 56% of farmers milk record. But I had questions for the 44% that didn't, but I also had a number of questions for the 56% that do, and whether or not they're getting really good quality outcomes out of that information, because we will all know that doesn't matter what stage of a journey you're on or what sector that you operate within, data is one thing, but your ability to be able to analyse and to be able to utilise that data is huge. And I guess the key for us is in Ireland, if we use the Irish example, like I hear and I watch with interest the fact that on the other side of quota removal now, there is an aspiration within the industry to grow milk output in the country by 50% by 2020, which is a significantly aspirational target. But I guess what I wanted to be able to demonstrate to farmers is that we just don't want to be growing for the sake of growing, and ensuring that when we grow with good quality cows, and recognise that we need to be smart with the way we go about our pastoral focus, and focusing on the cost of the production of that milk, but importantly from a genetics perspective, recognising through the data that's been collected from animal recording that there is an enormous difference between good and average cows.
Sensors are for monitoring and measuring.
Monitoring, measuring and managing accordingly. As I say, if you're not monitoring, it's very hard to measure. If you're not measuring, it's very hard to manage. And that goes with basically all aspects of farming. So, a typical exercise for some farmers would be to go out and measure grass and see how much grass they have so that they can manage. We take it a step further in our milk monitoring technology, in that we're able to measure and monitor the milk yield, the butterfat, the protein, the lactose and the conductivity in the milk through our sensors. So the farmer can relay that back and pick out his top 10 performing cows, or his bottom 10% of his cows, and he can relay that back to what they ate that day, or what changed that day and what upset them, how much it may have cost them.
I think about 7% have started using sensor technology.
Correct, yeah, it's quite a low uptake here in Ireland, unfortunately, at the moment.
And that's since sensors would be here about 2 years? Or?
Yeah, sensors are around longer, but really it was probably a lower percentage of farmers up till 2 years ago that were actually using sensors and automating parlours. However, there's been a massive push here because of obviously the growth in dairy, and now they're starting to see the value in actually measuring what they're producing, as opposed to guesswork.
Our robot is developed from a company in Holland called Instantech. We're basically Irish and English agents for Instantech. Now, we could have developed a robot because we have a lot of experience in software, hardware, but we just said we'd call upon Instantech, who are market leaders in that line of technology, and we'd work with them. So we then done some more R&D development with them on how to improve the robot. So currently we have 39 robots installed in Ireland.
So what exactly, if we were to use robotics, could they go onto this system?
Yes and no is my answer, which I mean, yes, you could adapt this to a robot, no problem whatsoever. The only problem I would see is the financial side of it.
Yes.
For the commercial dairy farmer, for him to actually put a robot on a herringbone, it wouldn't make financial sense to actually apply that. Yes, it can be done, and yes, it has been R&D'd. But I suppose, like most technology, as time progresses, as time moves on, systems can be made more competitively, people get to use them more, and it gets cheaper. So yes, I see that coming down the line.
My role on farm, as I would expect all consultants, is to identify the limiting factors within a business. It could be something very short term, So, you know, the immediate situation with grass on a farm, for example, or, you know, a health issue within the herd, or it could be a limiting factor, could be a long-term, you know, something long-term as well, for example, labour efficiency or, you know, overall farm profitability.
What's the master plan?
So on this farm, we have a lot of changes taking place. The herd has expanded rapidly. So there's a lot of things that are going to be in the process of getting comfortable with the new business structure as it is. A lot of investment has taken place on the farm to be able to manage the larger herd size. So what we want to track on the monitor farm is Joe's progress from where he was today, where is he in 3 years' time. We have set targets for Joe that he's striving to achieve. Has he achieved those targets? If he has, how has that happened? How successful has that been? If he hasn't achieved, where did we go wrong? And what value is there in sharing that knowledge with other farmers who are also on the same journey?